Okay, so I need you guys to get out on page 56, this chart that we made to help us remember how to go between fractions, decimals, and percent. So have this off to the side. You guys can pause while you get that out. We're gonna start on this section. Let's see if I can zoom in. Ooh, yeah, I can. Ooh, it's a little dodgy. Okay, we're gonna start on this section. So write these decimals as fractions. You guys can pause this, or your sub can pause this as much as needed. I'm gonna show an example, and then you guys can pause it, working through them on your own. And when you're ready to come back, I'm gonna do the rest of them. So turning decimals into fractions, if you look at your pink sheet, in order to do that, we have to put it either over 10 or 100. So go ahead and look at that box where it says decimals to fractions, find it, someone read it out loud. Again, pause it until you find it. So 3 is in the 10th spot, so I know to put 3 over 10. Let's find one with a hundredths. 36 hundredths is in the 100th spot, so I know I'm going to do 36 over 100. Okay, I'll do this one, and then you guys do the rest on your own. So 125, that's in the thousandths place. We have 1 in the tenths, 2 in the hundredths, 5 in the thousandths. So this one is a little different. We put it over 1,000. That's going to be 125 over 1,000. Okay, so go ahead and do the other ones. Pause it, and then I will show you what the answers are. So 5 tenths, that's going to be 5 over 10. 6 tenths, that's going to be 6 over 10. 2 hundredths, 2 over 100. 5 hundredths, that's going to be 5 over 100. 25 hundredths, that's going to be 25 over 100. And yep, that's it for that section. So we're going to move on to the next section. So writing fractions as decimals. So go ahead and look in your notes, that pink paper on page, what was it, 57, 58, 56, and find where it says fractions as decimals and see what it says there. Someone read it out loud. And then we're gonna go from this fraction to a decimal. Okay, so I see that 7 over 10, I can make this right into a decimal. I don't have to do any dividing. So that's 7 tenths, 0.7. Okay, same with, actually none of them. None of them have a 10 or 100 in the denominator, so you have to divide the top by the bottom. So I'm gonna grab my calculator. I would do 1 divided by 5. I know that's gonna get me 0.2, so I would put 0.2. So go ahead and pause and do the rest of those, the top divided by the bottom, and that will get you from a fraction to a decimal. So 2 divided by 5, that's going to be 0.4. Again, pause this, do them on your own, and then come back to this. 3 divided by 4, that's going to be 0.75. 7 divided by 8, that's going to be 0.875. Like this, but I don't want 3 digits. I just want 2. This 5 rounds the 7 up because it's 5 or greater. So it's going to be 0.88. 2 divided by 3, that's going to be 0.666 repeating. So you can just put 0.66 with a little line over it. 9 over 20, so 9 divided by 20, that's going to be 45 hundredths, 0.45. And then 7 over 25. I know that 25 goes into 100 4 times, just like quarters. So 7 times 4 would be 28. So I know it's going to be 28 hundredths. If you tried that as doing 7 divided by 25, you would get the same thing, I think. Yep, 0.28. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next section. Okay, writing percentages as decimals. Okay, so in order to do that, we take the percent sign. Oh, you can't see when I do that. And we move it over twice like this. 1, 2. And I put it there as a decimal. If there's a blank spot, you know that we put a 0. So the decimal is going to be 0.03. Okay. This one's a little bit more self-explanatory. So we take our percentage, we move it over twice, turn it into a decimal. It's right there, 0.3. Okay. So see if you can do those other ones. Oh, I'll go down to this one because this one's tricky. 17.5%. I told you guys that if we have a decimal in the percent, we move that instead of the percent sign. So I'm going to go ahead and just move this over twice, and I'm left with 0.175. So go ahead and do those other 5, pause, and then come back to this. So 25%, move it over twice, we get 0.25. 80%, move it over twice, we get 0.8. 8%, we move this over twice. I have a blank spot right there, so it's 0.08. 12%, move this over twice, I get 0.12. 67%, I move this over twice, I get 0.67. 67 hundredths as compared to 67%, which percent means per 100, so they both mean 67 out of 100. Okay, so we're going to go over to percentages as fractions. So go ahead and look at your pink paper where it says going from percentages to fractions. Pause this, find it, someone read it out loud. And it's going to tell us to first turn it into a decimal, then to a fraction. So we're doing... Okay, for some reason my video cut off and I missed a little bit, but first you turn it into a decimal. So this one would be 0.2, then you turn it into a fraction. So it would be 2/10 is 2 over 10. Okay, with this one, we move it over twice. We get 0.75, and we know that that as a fraction is gonna be 75 over 100. So go ahead and turn all of these into fractions, all these percentages into fractions. So pause it and then come back and I'll do it. So 5%, we move this over twice. Don't forget to put that 0 where that blank spot is. So it's 0.05, that 5 is in the hundredths, so I know it's 5 over 100. 30%, move it over twice, we get 0.3, which is 3/10. 40%, I move this over twice, I get 0.4, that is 4 out of 10. 15%, I move that over twice, 0.15, I get 15 out of 100 because that 15 is in the hundredths place. 24%, I move that over twice, 0.24, I get 24 out of 100 because that 4 is in the hundredths place. And then the last one, 35%, I move this over twice, I get 0.35, which is going to be 35 out of 100. Okay, so we'll go on to the next part, decimals to percents. So go ahead and look at that pink paper. Someone find it, someone read it out loud, pause this. And you're going to find out how to go from a decimal to percent. It should tell you to move the decimal to the right twice and then add the percentage side, okay? So for 25 hundredths, I move this decimal twice here. I'm done, the percent doesn't stay there. So once you move it, it's like gone, okay? We're left with 25 with the percent sign right there. So that's the answer right there, okay? I'll do one more with you. Same as if we're going the other way, if I move it twice and there's a blank spot, I put a 0 in that spot and that decimal is gone. So it's 50 with the percent sign at the end. So that's 50%. So go ahead and pause, do the rest of them. And, oh, actually I'll do this one with you because this one's tricky. So 0.375. If I move this decimal over twice and there's still a number at the end, I keep that decimal where it is, 37.5, and add the percent sign at the end. So it's 37.5%. Okay, now I'll pause it and do the rest. So I'm going to move this over twice. There's a blank spot, so it's 70%. Okay. This one, I'm going to move it over twice. There's no blank spot. I'm just left with 7%. Because that is 7 hundredths, and percent means out of 100, so 7 out of 100. 0.45, move it over twice, that's 45%. Move this 9 hundredths over twice, I'm left with just 9%. 4, I move this over twice, put a 0 in that blank spot, we have 40%. Okay, we're gonna go on to the last section, write the fractions as percentages. So go ahead and look at your pink paper, see what you need to do. And read it out loud. Pause this. Go to fractions to percents. And it's going to tell you first to turn it to a decimal, then to a percent. So it's a 2-step. So first we have to turn it to a decimal. This one's easy. 1/10 I know is 0.1. To turn that into a percent, I move this over twice. And I put a 0 in that blank spot. And the decimal's moved, right? It's not there anymore. So I'm left with just 10%. Okay? When it comes to something like this, to find this decimal, I do 1 divided by 5, which is going to be 0.2. And then I can turn that into a percent by moving that over twice. But that decimal point is gone. We put a 0 in the blank spot and a percent at the end. So it's going to be 20%. So go ahead and pause this and do the rest of them. And then 9/10, I know that's 0.9, 9/10. I move this over twice. I have to put a 0 in that blank spot, so I'm left with 90%. 3/4, 3 divided by 4 is going to be 0.25. I move this decimal place over twice. I'm left with 25%. 4/5, when I divide them, I know that's going to be 0.8. Move that over twice. I have to put a 0 in that blank spot. That's 80%. 17 divided by 20. Don't know off the top of my head, so let me do it really quick. Oh no, you couldn't see those. Dang. Okay, sorry, I was totally talking and you couldn't see them. But there's those two. I moved 9/10, move the decimal place, it's a percent. Same with that one. Okay, I'm on 17 divided by 20. That's going to be 0.85. So 0.85, that's going to be moved over twice, 85%. 1 divided by 3 is going to be 0.3333 repeating. So I'm just going to have you move it over twice and we'll simplify it and make it just 33%. And then this last one, 2 divided by 3, that's going to be 0.666 repeating. I'll just have you keep it at that. Move that decimal over twice, we get 66%. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and glue this on, here, I'll do it, on page, I think it's 58. 56, yes, because 57 you put in the worksheet we did. Hold on. Get your glue sticks while I'm figuring this out. No, we actually already put something on page 58. So this is going to be open up to page 59. You're going to put this on page 59. Okay. I will do the table of contents in a second. This is page 59. I know I said in the video or in my sub plans to put this, to turn this in, but actually put it in your notebook. Sorry sub. So go ahead and just put this on page 59. Okay, so I'm done with putting that on page 59. I'm going to open up table of contents. It's a pretty easy one. Down at the bottom, 59. Oh, I cannot write holding it like this. 59. You're just going to put another arrow because we're doing the same exact practice, okay? If you are going on to the next page, you can just rewrite percent, decimals, fractions. Okay, and that's everything.